feature match Robert Wyatt, Survival Opposition, a deck that has just been doing good
Is this
lately.
the Matt Dietz clone? Because there's like 16 copies of this deck in the tournament today. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, and this is a spicy little number with a Mystic Snake, some cool silver bullets in here.
Yep.
The main deck, Gilded Drake, looks real nice.
Very good
Collar of
stuff.
the Claw, your board gets wiped, you're right
That's the
back in
difference.
it.
Matt had it in the sideboard yesterday. Roberts moved it to the main deck. I think that's a great idea against these Wrath of Gods that are coming out of the landstill decks.
Yep. And so for the viewers that don't quite know what's going on with the survival opposition, we are looking at essentially a blue-green survival prison deck.
Mm-hmm.
It uses all these silver bullets and mana dorks to power out survival, get tons of activations out of it, find what it needs, throw down an opposition, and hopefully it's paired with a winter orb. Those two in tandem are basically going to stop the opponent from ever casting spells again.
Mm-hmm.
And if things are going well, you're going to get a fat trade wind rider on the board with a whole bunch of activations thanks
Bounce
to
all their
Korean
lands,
Rangers.
keep them out of the game.
Yep, you're tapping your walls of roots
Beautiful.
and your dorks, and you're bouncing everything back to their hand and just absolutely locking them out of the game.
This is
Uh,
survival of the fittest as Richard Garfield intended. He
in-
didn't intend people to be discarding things with a Volrash Shapeshifter in play or
yeah,
doing some
no
Hermitry shenanigans.
tomfoolery.
That's not okay.
We're playing honest Magic today,
We are casting Tradewind Rider.
and the Mystic Snake is so cool.
Beautiful.
So sick to see. Let's go on over to Mr. Javi Lugo.
Javi's deck is beautiful.
Wow, look at this tribe deck. This is so far from your traditional tribe build, right? Because
Mhm.
he doesn't even have about face in the main deck. I was talking to him earlier. 0 about face main deck.
Yeah.
He's basically playing a Bant,
Quite spec deck.
Bant 5-color madness quiet spec. Actually, it's not even doing madness. No worms, right?
Circular Logics.
Yep, Circular Logic is a madness card, of
Yep.
course. But yeah, he's just going to Value Town with this Quiet Spec package. 4 of Quiet Spec, notably.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really cool.
Yeah, most of us have been playing 3, and Javi's like, do you play 3 Survival of the Fittest? Do you play 3 Oath of Druids? And
Right.
we're like, Javi, no, you not only you are a handsome, beautiful person, you are also off the charts intelligent and know what to do. Let's go.
Indeed, yeah. And I mean, look at this mana base, changing up the mana base. Just everything about this is looking pretty cool. I'm not going to give too much mind to the sideboard right now because I am lit tired. But
Armadillo Cloak is a fairly decent Magic the Gathering card. Not so much against Tradewind Rider, but
right.
we do have Disenchant against the Survivals, but
Yeah, the
might
main
not be
deck
enough.
Ray of Revelations. So we'll see if Robert Wyatt ever gets a survival going here with these main deck Ray of Revelations that are also tutorable. Thank you to the Quiet Speculation package. For
Mhm.
those that don't know the card Quiet Speculation, it is a colorless and a blue and allows you to target a player, search their library with 3 cards with flashback, and put them into their graveyard. So a really nice 2-mana value engine that gives you tons of options, tons of flexibility.
And if you're losing, you can just quiet spec your opponent and see what they're on.
Indeed.
Love to see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Right. Towards the end of the game, hit him with a quiet spec, see what's going on. If you're a Duress Crew member, maybe you ask to see their sideboard as well. See if they say no.
Yeah, you can ask.
Right.
You're allowed to.
Never hurts to ask.
Javi's got an excellent choice in planes. Excellent choice with
Oh,
the
yes.
Mercadia in the background planes. Tilted Island. Let's go.
Indeed.
I'm here for it. Those are my 2 favorite lands.
Yep. I wonder if Robert Wyatt is rocking a freshly christened root walla right there with the
I would hope
sticky on
so.
it.
Little bit of ashes on it, and
Ooh,
going
and
its way.
we are stepping it up today with the. Yeah, shout out to the dude that left those little erase tokens there.
I've heard he's very handsome
Wow.
and very intelligent.
Must have been me. I must have forgot that I did it.
Good job, Brad. Good job.
So here we got a meddling mage coming down on survival. Javi, I don't know if that was in the blind or if he knew what was up, but that was a fantastic name. That's like the #1 thing that you want to turn off from the survival opposition deck.
Add these
because-
green decks in general. Like
Yeah.
you see Forest, you name Survival.
Right. And if they don't have their survival engine going, like they're not really playing the most amazing game plan. I mean,
Yeah, we got 1/1s. 1/1s
Yes.
are not terribly impressive
yep. But
against
I
Roar the One
mean,
tokens.
those root wallers are looking pretty nice right now, though, off of that
Not
cradle, though.
bad.
This
You
is
can activate
representing
both of them with the cradle.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
This is representing a good amount of pressure already, plus the ability to cast more spells as well. So I mean, we're doing like triple spells here right off the grip, and Javi Lugo only on 2 lands right now. A severe mana disadvantage, but we're gonna see how he's able to make it up. It looks like he does have the quiet spec in
He
his
does. He also has a
hands.
Call the Herd with a Forest.
So
We're going to do Billy.Wave and a Call the Herd Peru goes. But he's going
oh,
for the quiet spec.
here
I
we
like
go.
that. If he has the 4th mana, it's really good for getting Roar of the Worm. It just completely shuts down the aggro here.
Right, and
If he has the red source, he's got
volcanic spray.
yep,
This
Earthquake with flashback.
yes.
Love it.
So volcanic spray is a colorless and a red. Deals 1 damage to each creature and each player, and then flashbacks as well for colorless and a red. So if the shields ever go down for Robert here, and Javi is able to get red mana online, he's going to be in a really good spot to just absolutely nuke this board.
I think Javi knows what's up here because my first thought was, why do you get Ray of Revelation when you've named Survival of the Fittest? However, Ray of Revelation is able to kill opposition.
Oh, very good point there.
Yeah, so really heads up. The quiet speculations on top of the graveyard. Chef's kiss.
Wow.
Love to see the graveyard order being correct.
I actually have been unsure of how to sequence that this entire weekend.
So whenever you cast a spell that puts something in the graveyard, Fact or Fiction, Buried Alive, Quiet Spec, the cards go to the graveyard, your card resolves, goes on top.
All right, well, this is why we have vintage world champion Carl in the booth, enlightening me and the viewers on everything that's
It's okay.
happening.
Roland could have done the same thing.
So here we get the beats, and as I said, that Cradle is super live to pump up these Root Wallas. Robert is passing it back, and this Volcanic Spray is not super live
It's
right
not
now.
live. Yeah, Javi's missing the red source. Your 17 color mana base is sometimes not going to come together.
Right.
But he does have, as I mentioned earlier, Call the Herd, which is going to be
Right.
very good at stopping these Root Wallas.
A stout defender, one of my
Indeed.
favorite cards. I will always stand for
Wow.
a good
okay.
old Call of the Herd.
Javi's going for the top deck red source off of his deep analysis. So he's going deep and hard. It's especially hard when you're at 11 life, going down to 8.
I think that, yeah, this is an aggressive play,
Yes.
and it might be the right play, and it's not one that I'm sure that I would be bold enough to take. But
I wouldn't either. No, I would have gone Call the Herd and just been like, let's block. But
Yep.
Javi's looking at going for the red source, get 4 mana off the table. Oh no, 3, so it doesn't kill Birds of Paradise, but still, it takes a good
right.
amount of mana
Oh,
off
it
the
doesn't
table.
hit creatures with flying, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. But it paid off. He gets a dog on the battlefield. And
Oh no, he is not.
damn,
We got snicked.
that is an answer and a half. Javi is all smiles. Robert is all smiles. They're having a great time. High five.
Just high five.
Mystic Stake.
Rob was like, "Are you conceding?" Javi's like, "No, no, no.
No.
You a homie.
Exactly.
Let's go."
High five, dude. That's sick. Mystic Snake, one of the bangers of yesteryear that has never really found that much of a home in Premodern, but here it
I've
is.
never found a home in Standard either. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Traded for 4 of them. The Apocalypse True Release card was garbage.
Oh, okay. I thought it had its time in the sun. Is there not a gold border?
No. It might have been okay with there was like a Repulse deck that sometimes played them, but you didn't. It wasn't great.
Okay.
It was a lot better than Suffocating Blast, which I also traded for 4 of at the Apocalypse True Release. That card was actual hot garbage.
So here we go. Creatures are crashing in. Javi is at 8 life in a really tough spot right here.
He's
Because
looking
the
at
last
lethal
thing
here.
you want to do is lose this Meddling Mage. I mean, he does have the Ray of Revelation in his graveyard, contingency plan. But
Yep.
if he loses this Meddling Mage and Robert slams survival and activates, like, Javi
think
gets so far behind.
I think Javi wants to see that actually. So Javi I think he wants to block this Mystic Snake, have Robert play survival, tap his mana low to survival out a bunch of garbage, and well, I mean it's whatever. But that would allow Javi to draw red source and then flashback his Volcanic Spray and kill all the creatures
I mean,
except for the Mystic Snake.
Robert knows about that Volcanic Spray, though, so I feel like the jig is up on it,
We can keep our hope alive.
And the other thing that's notable is that Javi is pretty hamstrung on green mana right now.
Yes.
Okay, so we don't see the survival come down. We see a chump block on the mage. Javi's going to get an untap here and desperately needs to stabilize this board. I do see...
I see a Prismatic Strands in his hand. If we can pull Prismatic Strands up, that's great for the viewers to see.
This
It
is a beautiful card.
Fog of any color for 1 turn with a flashback of tapping a white creature. And Javi does have a white creature in Tireless Tribe, or not sorry, I'm sorry, Weather Wayfarer in his hand.
Indeed, yes. Viewers that were watching yesterday will recall the blowout of a devastating Dreams being cast for 6 on 2 Roar of the Worm tokens. and Pat Sweet responding with Prismatic Strands, preventing the damage. All lands were sacked. His opponent immediately scooped.
My man, .gif. Love it.
So here, what we gonna do? Javi taking a good think on this. Gonna run out the 3/3.
Okay.
So we got one blocker. And now I guess you've got to follow. I mean, assuming this resolves, sticks on the board, I feel like, you got to follow this up with the
You
Wayfarer
have to follow up with
because.
something. Yeah. The problem is he doesn't have a way to get the. Oh, maybe it's another Wayfarer I'm looking at, not Prismatic Strands. Sorry, viewers, if that's the case.
No, I think you were right. I
Okay.
think that it's there.
But he has no way to get it in his graveyard.
And no way.
Let's see the
Essentially to
Wild
cast
Mongrel.
it.
He does have
Oh,
Wild Mongrel. He doesn't have the second green source.
I see
Oh,
a
that's
plow.
rough.
I see a plow.
Okay. I miss identifying cards left and right here then.
Yep. Oh, and
Oh,
there was
okay.
the Caller of the Claw main deck, which was going to make a 2/2, and Robert is just able to go super wide. What a incredible
Very good showing from Robert.
survival
You don't get to
opposition.
do the survival of the fittest thing, but you still win the game
Right. It's
off
not
of just attacking with little dudes.
it's not super often that you're able to just like run out these root walls and just like absolutely slam into your opponent like that. But I mean, he got going fast. He had dorks. He had mana. He didn't need any other tools. Sometimes that'll do it in pre-modern, man.
For sure, yeah.
Sometimes you just got to turn body sideways, and that is enough to get there. So let's check out the sideboard. What you thinking, Carl?
Brad, are you a Winter Orb enjoyer in Tireless Tribe? Not to change topic too much here, but
I was
it's relevant.
thinking about it all night. I did not have it in my deck, but it's always on my mind.
okay. So if Robert is wise to the tribe, he may recognize the fact that the tribe deck often does play underneath Winter Orb. So
Right.
that could be a thing to take out along with this Gilded, not the Gilded Drake, that's going to take World Arm tokens, but Call of the Claw and potentially Vigilante, because I don't think there's anything that's going to kill in Javi's deck.
Right.
Bringing in Sharpshooter, which could be pretty good with the creature combat trades.
Yep.
Spike Feeder to do some spike tricks.
Perhaps.
And
I think with these
Tormod's Crypt,
Tormod
right?
Crypts,
Yeah.
are looking pretty good right now. The tribe deck plays out of its graveyard a whole bunch. That's like
Mhm.
its value engine. And after seeing that, what was going on, after seeing him cast Quiet Spec and seeing all these like silver bullets that he's putting in the bin,
Mhm.
I gotta imagine that he's pretty interested in bringing in these crypts right now.
And how?
Yep. Great card against tribe.
Javi's got Engineered Plague, which is pretty good. You name it on Lizard, I guess, for
Yeah.
Rulas or Elves or Birds. There's a lot of things you hit with Engineered Plague.
There is a lot of targets. I think that that's something that maybe you're interested in just to contain the board, slow this game down a little bit.
Oh, I was mistaken. I'm so sorry, chat. Prismatic Strands is in the board. I thought it was in the main deck. So
So
I
we
think we
were
can see
looking
that coming
at.
in.
We must have been looking at Ray Revelation, is my guess.
Something like that.
I do like the Prismatic Strands here. I think like everything is green that
Yeah.
attacks, and like Prismatic Strand just like opens up these windows where your opponent thinks that you're toast. They think that you're
Mhm.
dead, and all of a sudden you prevent all damage, hit him on the crackback, and then you even have the ability to flash it back.
Yeah.
I think that Javi's got to be pretty interested in bringing in this Phyrexian Furnace. Tormod's Crypt, not
Less
so much.
exciting. It's Seal of Destroy Target Squee.
Yep. Volcanic Spray looking excellent here.
Mhm.
Perhaps that Disenchant and Stormscape Apprentice. That's an interesting one. So
I don't know if it's great here. It's certainly very good against the Dreadnought decks.
Dreadnoughts, Terravores, that type of thing. Yeah.
What do you think about Pyroblast here? Taking out oppositions, although Javi, as far as Javi's concerned, Robert's playing a basically mono green deck. The Mystic Snake, he might be expecting opposition and Trade Wind Rider, but I don't know for sure if that's what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know if I love it, but Javi knows best, and we'll see what he does. Is that an Armadillo Cloak in his hands?
Oh, he decided to go for it. So he's saying, I do not care about your Trade Wind Riders, sir.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to put an Armadillo Cloak on a creature. I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to crash through all of your walls.
Yeah,
that is
I
a
love
noticeable speed bump for the deck. Is these Wall of Blossoms, Wall of Roots? They block mongrels super well. You have to overcommit just to answer them, and a lot of the times you're exposing yourself when you do that. So, not a bad choice. Here we go.
He just takes the survival that he wrote down last game, slams it back on the board.
Yep. Survival is absolutely the card that you're naming with the first Meddling Mage every time, no doubt.
All right, Tribe, get hyped. We have a third mana source in hand from Javi and an Armadillo Cloak to go on this Meddling Mage.
This Meddling Mage is about to go buck wild.
Oh, he is going to do many unnatural things to Robert.
Yep. Pretty notable, though, that Javi did not have a plow, a swords to plowshares for this Birds of Paradise.
Yeah,
So Robert is off to the races here. The bird should always be bolted, but the bird survived.
yeah.
And
The heuristic is not quite the same, but it's the same general idea. You
yes.
bolt the bird, plow the bird.
Yep. So here we got
Basking Rootwalla
a
comes out.
Basking Rootwalla on the board again. The menace from last game. But if Javi wants, he could suit up this meddling mage, although it's not really the card that you're looking to.
Yeah, you generally want to go into like a wild mongrel or
Right.
a dog.
Yep.
Something
Tribe
like
is
bigger.
really nice. You know, with Tribe, it's like you can just crash in every turn.
Yeah,
and
you
if
have a
need
three
to.
three infinite butt basically.
Right.
Like it's insane.
Yep. The life gain is very relevant. So Javi
It looks like he's going for that wild mongrel that I
Yep.
think I saw in his hand.
Yep. Javi got that dog in him, and he's going to put
Danger
it on
dog.
the battlefields.
Love it.
Showing it to the crowd and passing it back. You do not want to swing this meddling mage into a 3/3.
You could if you wanted to die.
Yes.
That is a thing that he is allowed to do. I would not recommend.
I don't think he's looking for a sack out like
Ooh, do we have
quite
an opposition, or do we have a trade wind rider?
Fast trade wind
Ooh,
rider.
That
I
is going to
mean,
make Javi's Armadillo look much less good. Also, he's going to be extremely happy he did not cast it on that meddling mage because it's going to be 3 mana, deal 4, gain 4.
Yep.
Not very exciting.
But I think we're about to see one of my favorite cards in this deck. So fun to cast every time. This might be a circular logic. Discard it to the Wild Mongrel.
Oh,
Makes
that's
it cost
slick.
1 blue, and he in this instance he's getting a Force Spike out of it, but it makes the
Just good
spell
enough. Just good
cost
enough.
an additional mana for each card in your graveyard. And here we go.
Fetchland's also very good at putting cards in your graveyard, turns
Yep.
out.
So efficient.
Well played,
So
Javi.
efficient, so good every time. I absolutely love that card. It's just a pleasure to play with. So that was a very clean, very nice answer. The shields are down for Robert. These creatures can start to turn sideways for a turn and at least get some damage in here. Start the clock, because you definitely want to be getting aggressive against survival decks. You want to close this game out before they find some way to get those survivals on the board or oppositions or any of those prison elements.
Yeah, not impossible. And Robert does have a lot of bangers just like slam on the table. He's got Mass Decor. He's got the Tradewind Riders. He's got the Deranged Hermits.
Right.
Really, really powerful things go over the top of these tutus.
Right. Yep. And pretty interesting there that Javi chose to go to combat and attack without casting this Armadillo Cloak. Sandbagging it a little bit, possibly holding up some interaction here.
That'd be my expectation.
Yeah, I didn't quite get a great peek at his hand, but
No, I saw Armadillo Cloak and I just shut down everything else. I'm like,
Right.
this is all that matters anymore.
and here we go. As I was saying, Wall of Blossoms coming down, an excellent blocker in this matchup. Cantrips on top of that, so it replaces itself in your hand. Just a pre-modern all-star from yesteryear that I love to see so much.
Also freshly christened by Heather Hudson.
Indeed, Robert was able to get through the line, unlike I was.
I'm so sorry.
There's still a chance, baby.
That's true. What were you looking to get done?
I'm just getting my cycling land signed for Terrageddon.
Okay.
Yep, I got it foiled, and now I'm in the process of getting Siggies on those foils.
Beauty. You might be able to talk her into doing one or two. Just throw money at her.
Right.
She'll make an exception.
Well,
for
I'm
you.
the one, actually, not to brag, but I'm the one that hit up Heather Hudson to come to this event, sent her an email, asked her if
Nice.
she was interested in it, and she said yes, and it has been so wonderful to have her here.
Excellent.
She's just such a nice lady.
She really is very pleasant.
So great. So many great pre-modern cards, and, that's why people have been handing her stacks, man. She has done a lot of iconic things,
Yep.
including this Wall of Blossoms
Yep.
and this Root Walla. Wonderful to see.
So Javi's got some choices to make here. I think he really wants to mobilize this Armadillo Cloak to start pushing through some damage with this Wild Mongrel.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
I do think it's time. I don't know what else is in his hand because,
Volcanic Spray.
ooh,
Not great against the current board setup.
right. Oh, he might be thinking about ways to push through extra damage with it, although he's not going to be able to cast it and flash it back in the same turn. That is for sure. But here we go. Firing it off, making his opponent respond. At least going to get a 2-for-1 out of it, which is huge. Plus his opponent takes the damage. So, just pushing through that extra damage. And
That is an error. Okay, Javi catches it. Yeah.
okay.
It's Earthquake, not Pyroclasm. Half Pyroclasm.
Yes.
So it does not kill the Birds of Paradise, but
Javi,
it does
upstanding
force the pump out of
gentleman. choosing not to Mike Long his opponent in this situation, keeping it honest and 100 at the same time. Now, the interesting thing to see here is whether or not Robert is going to remember that this Wall of Blossoms has a point of damage on it. Although I guess it's not really going to matter in this instance, right? Because this thing just got suited up. We got a 4/4 beefy boy on the board, crashing in.
With the damage on it, notably. So Robert could trade his Basking Root Wallet in for a card from Javi's hand.
Yes.
Looks like he's choosing not to do so.
Yep. Again, might not have recalled that the damage was there.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's really easy to overlook, especially after 6 rounds of intense, hot, sweaty, grinding Magic.
Oh,
really
Magic.
easy to overlook these things.
Got me excited there for a second.
Oh, no. We'll save that for later, after the stream.
Excellent.
Save that for the
post-party?
Duress Crew OnlyFans. So Javi's tapped out here, shields down. Let's see how Robert is able to respond and whether he's going to be able to
on this.
swing
It's going to be
this.
huge.
Yep.
Winter Orb. Okay.
So this is a very good card right now.
Ooh, he did bring in the Sharpshooter. Okay.
I don't know that I
No, it's going to be quite good here. Because what happens is Javi attacks with his Wild Mongrel, right? Robert just throws a bunch of garbage in front of it, and then gets those untapped triggers, and then kills off whatever he wants, and maybe perhaps this Meddling Mage. That's
pretty interesting, though, that Robert is going for this play, knowing that Volcanic Spray is in the graveyard, right?
Correct. Javi does have to get to 2 mana, which in his 12 land deck is going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah.
With this Winter Orb in play.
Indeed. So Robert kind of rolling the dice there on that one a little bit, and yeah, okay. So I was thinking that the Sharpshooter was live. The Sharpshooter
no, not yet. I'm actually surprised that Robert blocked here because he's sitting at 8. Javi's not going to like Flame Rift him or anything, so he could have saved that Wall of Blossoms as a blocker with the Sharpshooter being active.
Right, but you can't blame the man. He's at 8. He's staring down this dog. Mongrel can get so loose and so crazy out of nowhere. You always got to respect it. So I think that keeping your life total up is, a safe play. And here we see a Cradle coming down, so lots of mana available.
Very good on a Winter Orb.
Indeed. And, now this Goblin Sharpshooter is also live. Whew, this is a sweaty situation right now.
Yeah, Javi's in a rough spot. This Wild Mongrel, very exciting in that it can attack and do a bunch of damage, gain a bunch of life. But if Javi kills a creature, Robert gets an untap trigger from the Goblin Sharpshooter, tosses the damage on the Meddling Mage, untaps the Sharpshooter, kills the Meddling Mage with the Sharpshooter.
Yes.
Untaps again, and then gets cast Survival of the Fittest and do whatever he wants. Should he have been fortunate enough to draw one while stuck under Meddling Mage, which I guess is not terribly fortunate, but...
If Javi swings in with this dog right now, is Robert able to pump the Root Walla, kill the Meddling Mage, and force Javi to discard another card to save the Mongrel? I don't know how many triggers he's got. I'm tired, folks. It's been a long weekend. Math is for blockers. I don't do math.
Yeah, so we're going to see who's blocking soon. Javi does... I'm hesitant to cash in this Volcanic Spray just for Goblin Sharpshooter, but the Sharpshooter in these combat matchups is so potent that it may be worth using that one flashback card to get out that Sharpshooter off the battlefield, because it represents a lot of problems for him.
So Javi here. Whoa, there it is. Big game. He's got his pick of the litter right now. A bunch of little dudes on the board.
All right, so the problem is Javi can't cast a second one because I only gave you guys 2 Dry Erase tokens. I guess you could write down one on one half, one on the other half, so I guess it's okay. But.
Yep, only 2 tokens allowed at a time. So here, what is he naming?
Yeah, Robert's expecting Goblin, so he's thinking about tossing a damage at Javi. Nice. So he's naming the Meddling Mage, so that's going to price Javi into naming Goblin. Because if he names Bird, which he wouldn't, or Lizard, he would get Robert would get an untap with his Sharpshooter and get to kill off the Meddling Mage. So nice from Javi. Robert misses a damage on Javi, but I think that's the best way to go about it. He's playing to the board, not to the life total.
Why did Robert miss a damage?
Robert could have pinged Javi, and Javi would have probably been naming Goblin regardless.
Okay.
Um,
Yep. Yeah, he was forcing him to name Goblin.
in this case, he
essentially.
forced him to do it by hitting the meddling mage.
Yep. Yep. Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah. So Robert gets to untap his Guy's Cradle.
And that mongrel did get in. We
It
should note.
did, yes.
That mongrel turned sideways, got in, putting Robert down to 4 life. So he's got some mana, but he's in a pinch right now.
Is this
He
a range
needs
tournament we have
something
coming out
spicy
here?
to come out. And
Oh, it's a trade runner. I don't know how to
that
count. That's why.
is a spicy one. Is it going to be enough, though? He's at 4 life. That
It's
thing is a
gonna be rough.
1/4. I think that he's in chump block territory
He
right
is.
now.
He has to block with either the Trade Rune Rider to save life, or to block with the Basking Roll. Hope to draw a creature that he can cast with his Guy's Cradle,
well,
and then bounce with that. But then the meddling mage gets in. So
exactly, and the dog is trampling, and it's a 4/4, and he has cards in his hand to pitch. So
that's right. So
this
he's
trade
priced into blocking with his Trade Rune
Yep.
Rider. Yeah, good call.
Yep. Tough spot to be in, but hey,
Yeah.
man, we want to see a game 3, folks.
Let's go. Javi doing a little bit of a reader there,
Refreshing himself.
as one needs to do after 6 rounds of Magic with 3 more to go.
Indeed. Long, long day here.
Some of us do not have the endurance. These gentlemen do.
Yep. Oh, and wow, I just noticed that we're watching 2 teammates.
Oh yeah, I
Matching
noticed
jerseys.
it at the beginning, and then I forgot to mention it.
Yeah, matching jerseys.
Good job, guys. Good
All
job.
right, so these 2 are probably familiar, too, with this matchup, I have to imagine. I'm sure that they play
One would
tested it
presume,
together.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll have to get Javi's thoughts on what he thinks of the matchup afterwards. And
block,
here
yeah.
we see double block on the dog.
It's obviously sitting on 3 cards or 2. Yeah. So
Interesting that he didn't swing with the meddling mage there. I think that the meddling mage was actually a free attack.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But doesn't matter. He is able to take down both of those creatures at the same time by discarding a beefy, hefty roar of the
Javi would have
worm.
gotten him 1 more damage because the meddling mage would have blocked been blocked by the Basking Wall. The Trade Rune Rider's priced into blocking the Wild Mongrel. So Robert could have saved a damage or been taking damage. I don't know. It doesn't matter all that much.
Yep. It's negligible at this point because here he is crashing in again into his 0/5, and this is going to push at least 2 damage through with the meddling mage. A discard of another flashback spell to the dog. Infinite value right now.
It is. So Javi, I think, might have missed lethal here. Not to be that guy, but if he had discarded his deep analysis to the Wild Mongrel, flashback deep analysis, he gets 2 more cards that he can then discard and trample over for the win.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Always easier to see from top down when you are not playing.
Again, their endurance is
Yeah.
to the test. I'm sitting here drinking beer, pontificating from my armchair.
Right, exactly. And fine armchairs they are.
They really are. Yeah, we'll get a cut back to this later, but they're nice.
The streamers have been
Yeah.
sitting upon thrones in the Dante for the whole weekend in
Indeed.
this nice, comfy AC room, living it up.
And how?
Jay having an extremely rewarding weekend in the booth, seeing all the labor of his love of his I don't know what I'm saying.
He did a good job.
He sees the hard work paying off.
There we go.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. All right. Game 3. What we want. This is exciting. This
Love to
is
see
sick. Both players battling it out for top 8 contention at the biggest pre-modern tournament that ever was, featured on one of the greatest pre-modern streams that ever was. This
Or ever will
is
be?
Hype Peak Pre-Modern Magic. Ever will be until next year. How about that?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm here
Yep.
for it.
The best is yet to come, folks.
It really does. While we got these players sideboarding, consider going back and looking at your life choices. And if you decide to give a bunch of money to Jeff Bezos, take that money, give it to Duress Crew
Indeed.
with your Amazon Prime subscription.
Free Bezos bucks via Amazon Prime. We love them. We want them. You don't have to give us real money. Just give us your free money, and that turns into our
You don't have to? I thought it was a
free
law.
money.
I thought we had to give you your money.
You know what? I'm just hearing that the law is you have to donate it.
I could be
us.
mistaken, but just play it safe. Give some of your money to Duress Crew.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
careful. Don't run afoul of the law.
Mm-hmm. Play nice. Play tight. It didn't look like either player did.
I don't
too
think so,
much
yeah.
in the way of sideboarding.
Yeah, that's why I
here,
started
so
shilling, because I don't think they're doing any sideboarding, so there's nothing really anything changing here.
pretty interesting. The The Armadillo Cloak is not tech that I necessarily would have been thinking of
I
in
wouldn't
this
have expected
matchup.
it coming against the Tradewind Rider deck.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do you want to just give your opponent free value? Because this is how you give your opponent free value.
Right. Yep. That anything gets bounced that has a Dillo Cloak on it, and now you're getting 2-for-1s. You're falling behind.
As you astutely noticed, these are players that have played together likely as teammates.
Right.
Thusly, they know the matchup. They know what they need to sideboard. They ain't got to go back. They're confident.
Right. Yep.
They're sitting at 5-1. They know what's going on.
Indeed. Here we see a quick mulligan from Robert on the play, going down to 6. Javi looks like he has a nice spread of mana and spells. Finger upon the temple, slight furrow in the brow.
His colors are a little awkward. I
contemplating.
believe I see an Engineered Plague and a Psychotog. Oh, he has a City Brass. Okay, never mind. It's
Yep.
the City of Brass was what I thought was the Engineered Plague, and he has a Sword Plowshares. This is a fantastic hand out of Javi
That is
that
not
he doesn't like.
keepable. Wow.
There's a reason Javi's still playing and I'm not.
Right. Very interesting. I mean, I do understand that the Psychotog is a little bit slow here.
It is.
Right. You don't have that immediate discard outlet. You know, me, I see a Swords to Plowshares. I'm thinking maybe this hand's a keeper.
Right.
But, hey, Javi thinks that he can do better.
He probably can. So while we got these guys mulliganing, did you play Season today?
I did.
Good.
I did. And
That
I
drops.
never casted it, sadly.
Yeah, Javi's not casting either because he's not playing it because he doesn't
Right.
have any faith.
Yep.
He said he didn't have the reps with it, which makes perfect sense.
Yep. He said he was not sure about it.
Yep, understandable.
Was not sold on it.
It is a bit unproven, but it's a super sweet card.
Yeah. Yep.
Gets you an extra attack step with your pumped up Wild Mongrel, your pumped up Psychotog.
Right.
Feels good.
Exactly.
Feels good.
Exactly. I mean, I had games where I had it in my hand, and I just couldn't quite get through stalwart defenses.
So you got to put Armadillo Cloak on your creature first.
Right. Yep.
Get him.
Should have FaceTimed with Javi for a few hours before this tournament. But
And then done it again to talk about strategy because Javi's just a delight to talk to.
right. Exactly.
I'm sure Robert is too. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know Robert.
Right. Yeah. Robert, a bit of maybe a bit of a newer face, perhaps, whereas Javi is somewhat of a pre-modern legend at this point.
And how?
I mean, once you top 8 LobsterCon once, as Javi did last year,
Yep.
I think that your name becomes written in the legend. I think that's just pretty much how it works.
I believe that is the law.
Jay pointing at himself, top 8 contestant at LobsterCon, retired to streaming,
You walked into that one, Brad.
but he might be back, folks.
Ooh.
Don't
let's
call it
see
a comeback, but he might be back.
He's got to train an apprentice to handle the stream. That's the real issue.
Exactly. Yep. Get Fern in here. Pay him no money.
He can't drink anyway. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he can.
Oh, he's old enough now?
Yeah.
Okay. When I met him, he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Not mentally, but
Fair enough.
just kidding.
Legally.
We love Fern.
Fern's a wonderful person.
Good dude. Silly character.
And how?
Little goober. Robert.
Not playing zombies anymore, right?
I don't know what he played today. I thought that
Oh.
I saw him playing Burn, which was
We'll make our producer find out while we're looking at this mulligan from Robert.
yeah. Anyways, here we go. 5 cards on the play. Starts off with a Yavimaya Coast.
No
Which-
one drop. It is 12 one drop deck.
Right. And,
Rough.
I mean, at least he knows that this is not going to get wastelanded, at least.
He also has the chance of resolving Survival of the Fittest before Meddling Mage comes out,
Right.
which I think we're going to see here. Very nice.
What do we got?
Nope, I feel like an idiot. He has Wall Roots.
Roots. Coming down, Javi fetching either in response or on the end step. One thing that I love about Tireless Tribe is that you just fetch every time you have the opportunity.
For sure.
Because generally fetching to thin is a marginal value.
Follow the wall.
But in the case of Tireless Tribe, where you're putting 3 cards from your library into your graveyard, the
Yep.
thinning actually starts to add up.
It really does, yeah.
And here we go. Thin
Got
away,
our 2
baby.
mana intuition for flashback cards.
Yep.
Let's see what Javi goes for. Gotta imagine he's going for like Volcanic Spray, probably Aurora the Worm if he's got a green source, and then like a Deep Analysis or a Ray of Revelation to deal with the survival.
Ray
that
of
can possibly
Revelation, very good here.
Robert not happy to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. The Multi-5 is tough. Not coming out fast is tough. Getting your Duder plowed is tough.
Yep.
He's in a position here where he has very few resources, and these resources are really going to have to carry him if he's going to get through this game.
Yeah.
Going into this match, I might have thought that Tireless Tribe was the underdog in this matchup. What do you think?
I always thought Tireless Tribe was a garbage deck, and then I started playing it, and I realized it's absolutely insane. It is. You have so much agency at every step of the game. It's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah. It
So
leads to
I would
really
not.
fun
Give
games.
me like a year ago, I would have said easy peasy for side operation. After that, I think it's a game.
Yeah. And so here we see Deep Analysis, Roar of the Worm, and the Ray of Revelation. So tons of value getting dumped into the bin. Robert tapping, casting before playing a land, which signifies
Yeah,
that yes, he is
misses
missing land drops.
That's gonna happen when you're mulligan. Sometimes you get to the 2 drops, and
Yeah.
you gotta hope that wall of that wall of roots can carry you through, and it is not.
And here we go. Javi sees no pressure coming whatsoever, so he's just going to fire off a draw 2 and keep on hitting land drops,
take a
keep
turn
on getting
off.
value. That's huge.
City of Brass that he can drop down. Oh, he's got a forest
He's got all sorts of lands.
and a fetch. I think he wants to do forest or wood or windswept heath to keep this flashback from Ray of Revelation up.
He might be slightly flooded here.
A little bit, but he does have a Roar of the Worm that he can cast on turn 4. And as long as Robert's not able to resolve a Trader and Rider, that Roar of the Worm, I think, can go coast to coast by itself.
Definitely.
6/6 for 4 is
that's a
little
good
bit of a rate.
Good rate for Premodern, especially. And here we see
Hit the land, had a Root Walla.
the little lizard coming down, push-up lizard, back on the board, 3 games in a row. Heather Hudson, freshly signed.
We think. We don't know for
We
sure.
think. We hope. We
Now-
pray.
Chat, what yoga pose is this basketball doing? It's a yoga pose. I just don't know what it is. Where you like push yourself up, your bottom's down, and go from there. My beautiful wife, I believe, is watching. She might be able to tell us.
That's the type of stretch that I need to do more often.
No doubt, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get old. You gotta stretch.
Exactly. Us old fogies. Can't stress enough. We are so... Oh, no, I'm just kidding. So here we go. Planes down. Slamming those lands sideways.
Roar of the Worm.
Big boy freight train coming through. Freight train a-coming blues.
6/6 above rate creature.
Man,
dies
I got to
to
gift the
Rider.
proper token to Javi.
Yeah, I have a couple at home. I didn't know that he didn't have them.
Yeah, those Odyssey ones are
Beautiful.
so nice.
MPR were just like the Magic Player Rewards tokens were just chef's kiss.
Indeed.
Right on target.
Indeed.
Beautiful.
You know what? I'm not even playing. Maybe I'll run down there after this and let him use them for the rest of the day. Maybe I'll say keep it if I'm feeling generous.
Good guy, Brad.
Depends on how many more beers I get in me.
They're like $20 tokens.
All right. You know what?
He's borrowed them.
Mail it back. So here we see Robert
Ooh,
hitting
he's
his
got, like,
4th
7
land drop.
lands. Brutal.
So Robert has, 2 cards in hand. He's back up on lands, but now he really needs to get some value out of what's going on in his hand. I mean, this 6/6 is stout. He essentially gets kind of a time walk in blocking with Wall of Blossoms because it already replaced itself.
Right.
So the pressure
It's like
is
a little
not.
cantripping fog.
Yeah, the pressure is not devastating yet, but it is definitely escalating quickly here.
For sure. Robert really wants that Trade One Rider here. He gets the survival
Oh, this is
about
big.
when he wants it. I've had some discussions with folks about when you drop your survival, and it's different in every situation, obviously. But
Yeah. Not
it's not great against this
activating.
Ray of Revelation.
Not activating it on his turn is kind of interesting because, yeah, as we've been saying, this Ray of Revelation in the graveyard is super live right now.
Yeah.
So
So he's waiting. He's waiting to make Javi commit mana before he makes his decisions with his survival of the fittest.
So Javi here, not even looking at that survival. He's looking at the life total. He's turning the 6/6 sideways.
He's going for blood.
And here we see a
the Root Walla.
block with the Root Walla. Interesting choice.
So insensitive. What a cute creature, and it just gets tossed in front of a giant worm.
Yeah. Interesting to block with that instead of the wall, but I suppose that you're thinking that the Wall of Blossoms can put in some work blocking other small creatures.
I think also there's a consideration here from Robert that Wall of Blossoms with blocking against a Armadillo Cloaked Whirlworm token would soak more damage. So he's kind of buying himself a little bit of extra life possibly in the future.
Yep.
Not sure.
Here we're going to see this flashback of Ray
Beautiful
on
foil
survival.
one too. Look at that.
Yeah, so do we have an activation? It looks like we do.
Basketball.
Free,
So good.
free value, baby. For those that don't know, Basking
It's
Root
free real
Walla,
estate.
if you discard it, You can pay literally 0 mana, no mana at all, and put that thing directly into play at instant speed. Madness, one of those cool little silly mechanics from yesteryear.
Interesting getting the squee here. If Robert has another survival, I'm totally on board with it. If he doesn't, it would have been super cool to get another Basking Root Walla.
Right.
Survival that, and then get whatever it is you want to go from
Yeah,
there.
keep the chain going, but
Gilded Drake.
Wowzers.
I rescind all of my commentary for the last 35 minutes.
Yep.
We got a Gilded Drake here.
Robert knows what's going on. So I want to say that Javi had another quiet speculation in his hand.
He may have. He drew a lot of lands this game. I saw 7 at last count.
Yeah.
Between hand and play.
Man, this is tight now. This game is completely switching on its head. You know, Robert here sitting at 19 life and Javi at 16. So if these creatures swap, Robert is going to be in the position of racing this. Javi's best bet here would be casting a Circular Logic for 3 if he has it, but it's a little tough to tell what he's got in his hand. He's keeping it close to the chest, keeping it tight. I see a dog. I see a whole bunch of mana, so the world is his oyster as far as lands go.
If that dog was a Roar of the Worm, oof.
Yeah.
I want to say that's a Roar in his hand, though. Right between the city and the quiet spec.
It could be. I see a doggy.
Yeah.
And we might see some other stuff as well. There's a shiny blue card there that's staring me down, and I want to find out what it is.
What does he want to get with his quiet speculation? That is an interesting choice to make for sure. He's got another deep analysis scene grab. Get some extra cards.
Oh, here we go.
Danger Dog comes out. All right.
Doggy Dog on the board and another quiet spec. All right, so we do not have a counter for this Gilded Drake. It looks like they are going to be exchanging creatures, and this is a tough spot to be in. The game's switching on its head in it, on a dime. Things changing real quick up in here. Javi is now going to have some work to do.
The third card is tough, yeah. So, yeah, it looks like he does have Roar of the Worm in his hand, which typically is not where you want to see it. You want to see it in your graveyard, so you get that 4-mana flashback. But with Javi having 17,000 lands between his main deck, or between his main board, the board and the hand, he can potentially cast Roar of the Worm and then flash it back.
Yeah,
Netting himself 12 power worth of creatures.
Good point.
Over the course of, whatever, 11 mana or whatever it is.
So we saw that he got another Ray, the Volcanic Spray, and another Deep Analysis, which is just going to enable him to get so much card advantage.
Yeah,
but
so many cards. He's drawing 4 extra this game.
You got to be feeling sad about losing this big old worm. I played a game against Elves earlier where I opened up with a Meddling Mage, a Swords to Plowshares. Here's the swap. Meddling Mage, a Swords to Plowshares, 5 lands. I drew only lands for the rest of the game. And I got to the point where when I finally drew a non-land spell, it was Roar of the Worm. I had 6 lands in play. I fetch on my opponent's end step, fail to find. Because I had just drawn all of my basics. And I was like, I'm going to cast this sucker.
My heart breaks for you.
And then my heart broke for me as well.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
And that's why I'm in the booth, baby.
Happened to my buddy Matt. He had a fail to find playing against my buddy Ben yesterday. With his Matt was playing Tempting Rack. Very sweet deck.
Cool.
Tempting Worm, Pit Rack. Yeah.
All right, so we saw the swap, and now this Gilded Drake is free to start crashing for 3 in the air, unblockable.
Danger Dog gets in 2 because that worm is tapped.
Right.
When the exchange happens with Gilded Drake, it keeps in mind the status of the creature. So if it's tapped, you get a tapped creature. If it's untapped, you get an untapped one.
Right.
It's tapped in this case.
Yep. Here we're going to see, it looks like no blocks and a pump on the
Discards
Mongrel.
the worm. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, Gilded Drake is amazing, but it's not free, man. When you play that and you give it to your opponent, you can expect it to start taking some damage in the air, and Premodern notably does not have a lot of flyers. Okay, so Jay...
this is the match where we had the judge call issue.
Yeah, Jay in the booth alerting us that there might be a judge call in the future, a little discrepancy on life totals.
Robert must have been a little fat-fingered, yeah.
So it's displaying. Okay, so here we have.
So Robert is actually at 12.
Okay, Robert's at 12.
He's not at 3.
Robert's at 12.
So mental notes, everybody, keep your.
Yep. So
Yeah.
was there a pump there through the Roar of the Worm? Or did he do that second main phase?
The second main phase. Oh
Interesting.
no, the pump happened. I believe that Javi got blocked by the Wall of Blossoms, and then discarded the Roar of the Worm just to get extra
Okay.
value.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not entirely sure, but I don't believe that there was not 15 damage coming through in this reroll.
Right.
I remember when the judge came in, like, oh, they have an issue with life totals. I'm like, oh, it's like 1 or 2 issue. No, this is a 15-point life total. That should not be happening right now.
Huge. All right. Meddling Mage. We do have a Ray of Revelation in the graveyard right now, so
I want to say you named Tradewind Rider.
that's what I was thinking as well. Yep. That is, if a Tradewind comes down and sticks around, that's going to be one of the most devastating cards here. So,
yeah,
good name if he named it. Maybe he didn't. Who knows?
Javi
Javi's the
can't open the
master.
thing. It's dry race.
Okay.
Javi, it's dry race. It's dry race. Just dry race it.
It's not survival. It is Tradewind.
Rider.
You boys in the booth, we still got it.
Do we?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
We're doing it.
Tradewind Rider. Let's go. Unfortunately, I did put the dry race tokens into a little plastic clamshell case just to keep them from getting dinged up too badly. And Javi had trouble with the clamshell, so.
Apologies, Javi.
My
Carl
bad.
is so insensitive sometimes.
I really am.
All right, so how many cards does Robert have in his hand? Because
I
he's
don't
playing
think
black
it's like 2 or
sleeves.
3. It's not many.
So I can't tell if there's another card there or not, but
Yeah.
definitely a squee in hand.
So this Tradewind Rider, or this Gilded Drake is going to be getting in for free. It is not a lethal attack, contrary to what the interface says. And Robert's like, am I at 3? Javi's like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're at 3.
Hobby's like, what is going on right now? Stop. Judge. Hollering loud, hand in the air. This is how it's done, folks. When you need a judge call, you scream.
Keep that hand up.
All right,
Yeah.
so Jay alerting us
A bit of a judge call.
that the old fogies are back on camera while Jay gets a little fast forward on the action, and we're going to jump right back into where this judge call resolved.
All right, we have fixed our life totals thanks to our. It takes an incredibly handsome and intelligent person to get the life totals where they should be and get that information down to the players. It happened, and Robert is down to 11.
Was that Sean that did the fix?
I believe so.
Yep. Shout out Sean. One of the judges today, fantastic dude, has helped us out in the past. He kills it every time, and we are super stoked to have him. So we are back. The clock, of course, saying negative, but there's going to be a nice little time extension for these players to finish this game up. And oh my goodness, what is this in hand that is about to get discarded? It's Wonder. Ooh, boy, wonderful Wonder. When it's in the bin and you have an island, all of your creatures have flying. Javi just saying, I just ripped it off the top.
4-minute judge call mattered not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, all this time spent, Wonder off the top. That, I think, is going to be enough to do it here.
Robert's got no flying blockers.
Hands extended. Javi going to 6-1 right now. An insane performance with Tribe.
Absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Robert, unfortunately, with the mull to 5, that's just so tough.
And Robert's thrilled for Javi. We got a teammate possibly making top 8s.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Love to see it.
Support your homies. Get stoked for them.
And how.
Wow. Damn. Crazy end to the match. That easy, man. I was
just
playing,
top deck Wonder.
Yep.
Fly over.
Yep. I was playing Wonder today. It was excellent every time. Love the card. Love the deck.
Absolutely.
So stoked that I was able to jump into the booth for this one. And, of course, stoked that I could do it with my man Carl Winter out of Impulse Crew.